Hey everybody, welcome to Pam's Cutting Board. So today we are going to make a poke cake. They were really popular, I would say back in the 90s or so. And I'm going to start off with this white cake mix. Just a cake mix you can get from the store. Now with me, I use a lot of generic brands. I mean, if I can save a penny on something, I definitely will. And generic brands are cheaper than name brands. But when it comes to cake mixes, I usually try to get a name brand because years ago, and it may be different now, I'm sure they've improved, but years ago when I tried a generic brand, they were just dry, and I didn't like the texture of a generic brand cake mix. And somebody said, well, you can buy a pudding mix and put in it, dry pudding mix. But by the time you doctor it up and do all of that, it's just cheaper just buy the name brand for me. But like I said, it's been years ago since I've tried a generic brand, and I'm sure they've improved over time, and they may be really good now, but I just always go for the name brand. I'm going to bake this cake just as the directions on the back of the box says. I will follow it to a T. Okay, then after we bake it and we get it out of the oven, then you'll want to poke some holes in your cake. And we are doing a orange poke cake. And this is Jell-O. This is the Royal brand. Again, I went with generic on this. Or it might be a name brand. I don't know. But anyway, you make the Jell-O as directed on the back of the box. Then you pour the Jell-O over your cake. Then we are going to make kind of a cream cheese type frosting to go on it. And my frosting recipe calls for orange extract. I don't have any orange extract, and right now the roads they're still a little icy from the storm that we had a couple of days ago, and I'm not comfortable getting out and going to the store, and it's bitter cold too. So I'm not going to get out just for orange extract, but it will enhance the frosting. But we're not going to do that today. So if you're making it, you can go ahead and get your orange extract. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. So I'm going to turn you guys down. We'll get started on this cake. Okay, can you guys see everything? This is a Bitty Crocker. When I find these cake mixes on sale, I will buy several of them, different flavors, and put in my pantry. And that way, if I need to, if we have a church function, if we have a church function or a potluck of anything, then I've got it in the pantry and got it at a sale price. Sometimes if the cakes are on sale and the frosting's not, I'll buy several, maybe 3 or 4 cake mixes, put them in the pantry. Then when the frosting goes on sale, I'll buy the frosting to match them. So that's how I do it. Looking for a spoon. There we go. Okay, now I've got my 9x13 cake pan sprayed with non-stick cooking spray. I've got my oven preheating to 350. This says we'll need 1 cup of water. So let me go get my water. Then we're going to need a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. Well, it looks like about half, don't it? We're going to need 3 eggs. Second egg. I'll beat those eggs a little bit before I put them in my cake batter. Get a fork. I don't guess this step is necessary. I just try to beat my eggs like that. Not all the time, but most of the time I will try to do that. Okay, that's all that is for this. I'm going to mix it with my mixer, and you can mix it by hand if you don't have one of these mixers. Okay, it said to beat 2 minutes with that mixer or by hand vigorously, so I chose the mixer. But like I said, if you didn't have the handheld mixer, you could do that. You could just do it by hand. Go and beat till it's smooth, that you've got most of your lumps out. Now, let me go get my pan. Now, with a poke cake, you could use a yellow cake mix too. They make them with chocolate, but they usually don't do Jell-O. They'll do like a sweetened condensed milk version or something with the chocolate. I mean, you could do anything with a poke cake. I mean, you're only limited by your imagination with a poke cake, I think. This is simple. Like I said, if you quickly had to make a dessert, if you had company real quick, you know, about every ingredient that I have here, most of us have on hand. Even with the frosting, if you didn't want to do the cream cheese and powdered sugar and things, you could do just layer some Cool Whip after it's completely cool. I've done that, and I mean, that's a quick, easy dessert. I do that just to get the air bubbles out. Now we're going to bake it. It says for 13 by 9, 28 to 33 minutes. So I'll check it at about 20 minutes and see, 20 or 25 minutes and see where we're at. I'll bring you guys back in a little bit. Once the cake is done, we'll poke some holes in it and make our Jell-O. Okay, I've got the cake in the oven. And I want to just come back on and tell you that you can take a cake mix and you can replace the water for milk. And instead of vegetable oil, you can use butter. Add a couple more extra eggs. And it does make your cake taste a little better. But the way groceries are so expensive, I don't think that it tastes that much different to warrant me to have to use those extra ingredients. So I usually just make it as it is on the package. I follow those directions. But, you know, do what you want to. I also have this cake in actual homemade form. Like you measure your flour and do all that. But I've kind of adapted it to where it fits me and it fits my lifestyle. I'll do just a quick version of this. Some people call it orange dreamsicle or orange creamsicle. Well, I've heard it called both things, but ever what you used to call those little orange ice creams, you remember those? I used to love them as a kid. I'll tell you kind of a story whenever I think of that ice cream. Years ago, I probably was kindergarten, maybe first grade, but I'm thinking kindergarten. And on my way home on the school bus, ever so often the school bus driver would stop to fill the bus up with fuel. And he would stop at this little bitty country store that was probably, I don't know, just a few miles from my home. And back then, people had charge accounts, and my dad had a charge account at this store. And so all the kids got off the school bus. Now you have to think, this was 50 plus years ago now. So things were different. So all the kids got off the bus that wanted to while they were fueling the bus up. And if you wanted to go into the store, if you had money or your parents had a charge account, you could grab a snack. So I would always go for these orange creamsicles. Loved them. So I thought I was something big, in kindergarten. What would I have been? 5 years old, probably. I would go in and get my ice cream and go up to the counter, and I would say, charge it to my account. And she would put that down, and then my dad would settle up whenever he decided to settle the account. I don't know how often if he done it weekly or bi-weekly or monthly, I don't know. But whenever I think of that ice cream, that memory comes back to me. So this cake, when I'm doing it, it brings back that memory. But I've adapted it from scratch to semi-homemade, I guess, and just using a boxed cake mix. And two, I don't want to use up all my flour, my essential foods right now, because as I've told you on some of the videos, that we're in a snowstorm right now. We've got snow on the roads, and I'm just not comfortable getting out on those roads and going to the grocery store right now. So whenever I hear of a snowstorm coming in, I stock up on my food. That way I don't have to get out on them. And we're getting another snowstorm with about as much snow as we had the other time. I don't think the temps is going to be quite as cold, but I want to kind of preserve my food to where I'm not using it all up. That way, if I can't get out and restock before the next storm, I'm going to have enough to carry us through. So I was going to make some homemade bread, and I didn't have enough all-purpose flour, so I might do a video later on that. But right now, I'm stuck in the house, and I'm wanting to cook and eat. I mean, what else is there to do, right? So I just wanted to hop on here and tell you that if you wanted to kind of take your store-bought cake mix to the next level, you could. But I'm going to hop off here, and I will bring you guys back once the cake is done. So, the cake is still in the oven. I turned it on for 28 minutes. It's almost done, so I done it for another 5. And I think that will do it. And it said 28 to 33 minutes. I'll turn you guys around and let you see the Jell-O. I've got the boiling water in. Now I'm going to add a cup of cold. I did it just as the directions on the box. Jell-O, you just want to stir it. Make sure it's dissolved good. If not, I call it the skin. It'll have like a layer of skin on the bottom, which is not good. Let me pause you guys and get my cake out of the oven. My timer just went off. Here's the cake. I really don't have a spoon that's just round on the end. Most of mine are kind of like flat. So there's one that's sort of round. But anyway, I washed this. This is a bottle opener. I usually use this to open my evaporated milk. So I'm just going to poke holes in it. And I'm going to set it outside to let it cool, because it is very cold here. And it's not going to have a problem cooling down outside on the porch. Nothing can get to it. The dogs are all in the house, snug as a bug in the rug. They like to get out and play in the snow for a little bit. Then they're ready to come in and cuddle up by the fire. Okay. I think that's got that. I think that's got it, don't you? Like I mentioned, make sure your Jell-O is stirred really well, because you don't want none of that. I don't know what you called it. I call it skin. Okay. Then, just as simple as this. This is just, I mean, it's so simple, it's crazy. I don't know who came up with this. And you would think that this would make your cake soggy, and I mean, you just wouldn't think it was good. But let me tell you, it is good. But Jell-O just gets in there and kind of, it doesn't really gel, but it's a beautiful cake when you cut it, and then it has so much flavor from this Jell-O. You just want to saturate that. Yum, yum, yum. Okay. I'm going to take this out on the porch, set it up on the rail, let it cool down, because it has to be completely cooled before you add your frosting. We'll make our frosting, and then we are definitely going to do a taste test. See you back in a little bit. Okay, got my cake out on the front porch, cooling down. So both my butter and my cream cheese, they're softened. They're at room temp. They've been sitting out for a while. And if you don't set it out, you can pop it in the microwave for a few seconds just to soften them. Because if you don't, you're gonna make your life harder. trying to beat cold cream cheese and cold butter. Go ahead and cream this up. Okay. Add a little bit of vanilla. And here's, I mean, if you had clear vanilla, that would ensure that it's going to stay good and white. But I don't. Now here's where you would want to add your orange extract. I am really thinking about putting some Cool Whip in there and just to see how that's going to be. Lighten it up a little bit. Look at my scissors. I'm thinking I'm going to do that, guys. If I've got Cool Whip, I think I do. I'm going to fold me a little bit of that in there. Just to kind of lighten the frosting a little bit. I know. I've not done it before. You're supposed to measure this. I think you're supposed to have like maybe 3 cups. The original recipe was 2 sticks of butter, 2, what is that, 8 ounce? Is that what cream cheese comes in? Six cups of powdered sugar. But I'm not going to do all that. I'm just going to spread like a thin layer. Maybe a little bit more sugar. I don't want it overly sweet. And then I'll stir me in some Cool Whip just to lighten it a little bit. Let's see if this is a little better. It is. I may have just totally messed this up. Might have totally messed it up. Now, if you wanted to put a little food coloring, you can do so. Anytime you're working with whipped cream or whipped topping or something like that, you don't want to beat it to death. You don't want to deflate that whipped topping. So just kind of fold. You go around and then fold over. Around, fold over. Get me another spoon, try that. See if I totally destroyed my frosting. Actually, I'm going to put a little more in it. Because I think it's good. I do. I do. I do. I do. Okay. I can't wait to try this. To me, adding this whipped top, it gives it a little more like that white stuff you find in a creamsicle. Okay. Okay. While it's cooling, I'm going to set this back on the counter. We're going to have dinner, and then everything should be cooled. Bring you guys back. We'll frost the cake. Do a taste test. Okay. We have our cake. It didn't take it long to cool down off that front porch. Now we're going to frost it. Now, if you were doing this in a layer cake, you'd probably want to do the full recipe, the 2 sticks of butter and all that. But to me, I think this is plenty. Oh, did you see that? You guys see me make a mess. I have never done the Cool Whip in this before, but I think I will start doing it because it makes it like a cream.
If that tastes, hey,
What?
as good as it smells, there will be no leftovers.
You're not going to eat all this cake tonight, are you? Like I said, if you wanted to add some food coloring to this, you could, but I like it just kind of white. You definitely, though, need to add your orange extract. That's going to bump the flavor up big time. But I had vanilla and I had lemon. They clean that little mess up. And then this is going to be ready. Okay. I'm going to pause you guys. I'm going to cut a piece and we're going to try it. Okay. Can you see in the bowl and see the orange? That's where we made those holes and poured the orange Jell-O. Let's try some back. You can definitely tell I didn't use the orange extract. That is needful. That is needful in this recipe. I mean, it's still good, but it takes it to that next level. So when you make it, make sure you get that orange extract. But in the meantime, we'll eat this cake. See y'all later. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share. That helps us to bring more videos to you guys. If you have a prayer request, send that through the comments, or if you go in the description box, you will see my address, my email, all the information you need to send us a comment. If you want to send it privately, if you want to send us a card saying thank you or whatever you want to do, We love you guys. Till next time. Bye-bye.